All right, buckle up, listeners, because today we're not just talking spaceships. We're talking about pushing them to the absolute limit.
That's right, we're diving deep into the thrilling world of spacecraft racing.
We've got danger, we've got daring pilots, and we've got some of the craziest courses this side of the Sirius system.
And we're going to break down everything, from the history of these high-octane competitions to the mind-blowing tech that makes them possible.
So if you've ever dreamt of piloting a ship at breakneck speeds, dodging asteroids, and maybe even leaving your mark on galactic history,
then you definitely want to stick around. Because this is a deep dive into a phenomenon that's captivating every corner of human space.
Now, when we say spacecraft racing, we're not talking about your casual weekend jaunt around the asteroid field. We're talking about purpose-built ships, meticulously designed for speed, maneuverability, and, let's be real, a healthy dose of daredevil spirit.
These are races where pilots push themselves and their machines to the absolute breaking point, all for the glory of a podium finish.
And the roar of the crowd, right?
Oh, absolutely. These events, they draw in spectators from all walks of life. It's a spectacle, a carnival, a celebration of human ingenuity and daring. Think of it like the ancient chariot races, but with, a few more parsecs involved.
Okay, so let's talk about the races themselves. First up, we got to start with the big one, the Murray Cup, held in the Ellis system.
The Murray Cup, the Super Bowl, the World Cup, the Thrilla and Manila of spacecraft racing. It's the oldest, most prestigious, and arguably the most dangerous race in human space.
And it all started with a bunch of bored terraforming workers.
Yeah.
Right? Just looking for a way to blow off some steam.
Exactly. They started modifying their work vehicles for speed, setting up makeshift courses, and before you knew it, it evolved into a system-wide phenomenon.
And now, centuries later, the Murray Cup has two main categories, each with its own unique flavor. You've got the classic race, pure piloting skill, no fancy tricks, just you, your ship, and the track.
Then there's the Blitz. Now this is where things get really interesting.
Interesting might be an understatement. We're talking countermeasures, environmental hazards, and enough strategy involved to make even a seasoned chess grandmaster sweat.
It's a technological and tactical arms race, with teams constantly innovating to gain an edge. We're talking about experimental engine designs, cutting-edge shield modulation technology, even utilizing the gravitational pull of celestial bodies to slingshot their ships ahead of the competition.
It sounds intense. For what I understand, a win at the Murray Cup, especially in the Blitz, that's an instant ticket to racing legend. Your name goes down in history.
Absolutely. Winning the Murray Cup, it means sponsorships, endorsements, and a whole lot of credits thrown your way. But it's not for the faint of heart. It takes nerves of steel, lightning-fast reflexes, and a healthy disregard for the laws of physics to even stand a chance.
Okay, so if the Murray Cup is the polished professional league, where do things get a little more, shall we say, rough around the edges?
Well, for that, you have to travel to the Baker system, home of the Abel-Baker Challenge.
Ah, yes, the Abel-Baker Challenge. Now, this is a race that seems to revel in its unofficial status.
It's about as underground as it gets. No official sponsors, no rule book, just a whole lot of guts and a prayer to whatever deity you subscribe to.
And maybe a good mechanic. I imagine those ships take quite a beating. The Baker system is notorious for its, well, chaotic nature.
Right. Two binary stars create some insane gravitational fluctuations, which of course the Abel-Baker organizers incorporate into the race itself.
So you're not just racing other pilots, you're racing the very fabric of space-time.
Exactly. 1 minute you're slingshotting around a star, trying to use its pull to gain an advantage. The next you're dodging solar flares or navigating through an asteroid field that wasn't there 5 minutes ago.
And did you say something about weapons? Because I'm hearing rumors that the Abel-Baker isn't afraid to let things get a little explosive.
Well, let's just say that the line between defensive countermeasures and offensive weaponry can get a little blurry out in the Baker system.
Sounds like my kind of party. Okay, next up on our galactic tour of speed demons, we're heading to the Stanton system for, what is it they call it, the Daymar Rally.
Oh, the Daymar Rally. That one's a personal favorite, despite what Crusader security might say about it.
Right, because this isn't just some friendly race across a moon, is it?
Not exactly. Don't get me wrong. The initial leg, it's all very official, ground vehicles, checkpoints, the whole 9 yards. But the second that first checkpoint is cleared,
It's every pilot for themselves.
precisely, all bets are off and anything goes. Live fire is permitted, turning the dusty landscape of Daymar into a high-octane, high-explosive battleground.
It's a good thing they hold it on a moon. Gives new meaning to the phrase, dust yourself off. And as you alluded to, Crusader Security isn't exactly thrilled about the whole affair, are they?
Let's just say they've been trying to shut it down for years, citing safety concerns and public disturbance.
But hey, where's the fun in playing it safe, right?
That seems to be the general sentiment among the Daymar rally participants. The risk, the danger, it's all part of the appeal.
Well, if you're listening to Crusader Security, maybe just, park a few extra patrol ships around Daymar during the rally. It's not like you haven't heard of it by now. Speaking of a different kind of intensity, let's jump over to the Shan Empire, shall we?
Ah, you must be talking about the Koa Ikoya.
The Koa Ikoya, a race so grueling, so demanding, that it makes even the Murray Cup look like a leisurely stroll through the park. This one isn't just about speed, it's about endurance, both mental and physical.
Absolutely. We're talking marathon spaceflights, sometimes lasting for days, even weeks on end, combined with these grueling physical and mental challenges at each checkpoint.
And it's not just about piloting skill, right? You were telling me about some of the bioaugmentation these pilots undergo just to compete.
Oh, absolutely. Top Koa Ikoya pilots, they'll spend years training their bodies and minds for the extreme conditions of the race. We're talking specialized diets, meditation techniques, even genetic modifications to improve their oxygen efficiency and stamina. They even have technology that allows them to slow down their metabolic rate during the long stretches between checkpoints.
Talk about dedication, sounds almost superhuman. And as if that wasn't enough, the checkpoints themselves are shrouded in secrecy. Pilots don't even know where they're going until they reach the previous one.
It's all part of the challenge. The Koa Ikoya tests every aspect of a pilot. Their skill, their endurance, their adaptability, even their sanity. It's a true testament to the Shian pursuit of self-improvement through adversity.
It makes you wonder, if you had to choose, would you rather face down a barrage of laser fire in the Daymar Rally, or push your body to its absolute limit in the Koa Ikoya?
Honestly, both sound terrifying and exhilarating in equal measure. But there's something to be said about a race that's been a cornerstone of a civilization for centuries. And that brings us to one of the things I find most fascinating about the Koa Ikoya.
And what's that?
It was only recently that they opened it up to non-Shan pilots. For centuries, it was this incredibly insular event, deeply woven into their culture. I think the fact that they're finally letting other species compete says a lot about how their society is evolving, becoming more open to the galaxy at large.
That's a great point. It's like a cultural exchange disguised as a death-defying race through the cosmos. What's not to love? All right, so we've talked about prestige, we've talked about endurance, but we haven't talked about our final race of the day. A race that seems to thrive on unpredictability and a healthy dose of chaos.
Ah, you must mean the Yulin system races hosted by none other than the Banu Suli.
The Banu Suli, known galaxy-wide for their love of trade, their vibrant culture, and their, shall we say, eccentric sense of entertainment.
Their philosophy is basically, if it can't be traded or raced, is it even worth having? And when it comes to the Yulin system races, let me tell you, these guys don't mess around.
We're talking natural tracks that would make even the most seasoned Murray Cup pilots sweat.
We're talking asteroid fields so dense you could barely squeeze a starfighter through.
Nebulae that play havoc with your sensors and make every turn a gamble.
And just to spice things up, they've even been known to route the race dangerously close to the gravitational pull of a black hole. You know, just a little something extra to keep the adrenaline pumping.
Because who needs artificial hazards when you've got the raw, untamed power of the universe at your disposal?
Exactly. And the Banu Suli, they don't just set these races in extreme environments, they actively encourage a certain level of, well, let's just call it creative maneuvering.
Creative maneuvering. Does that translate to anything goes in Banu Suli?
Pretty much. There are some loose guidelines, sure, but for the most part, it's a free-for-all out there. And the Banu Suli, they love it. The more chaos, the more destruction, the more unpredictable the outcome, the better. It's like a giant cosmic game of chance, and the stakes are incredibly high. Fortunes are won and lost on these races.
So if you're looking for a sure thing, the Yulin system races are probably not the place to be. But if you're looking for a wild ride and a chance to test your luck against the most unpredictable odds, then step right up. Just maybe make sure your life insurance is paid up first. So as we wrap up this exhilarating journey through the galaxy's most intense races, one question lingers. If you had to choose just one to attend, which would it be? Would you test your mettle against the legends of the Murray Cup, brave the chaos of the Abel Baker Challenge, or push yourself to the limits in the grueling Koa Ikoya? Let us know your pick and what kind of souped-up starship you'd build for the occasion over on our forums. Until next time, keep your engines hot and your eyes on the stars.